I should have tried to be an engineer or something. I picked the wrong degree. I'm telling you. I really did. But I can't do math, though. Like, I remember in middle school, I literally used to cry when they was trying to teach us, like, negative. Like, I could not comprehend the fact that you trying to add -5 and this don't make no sense. Like, I could not handle it.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So we're going to be checking out some videos about people who regret their college degrees. I'm sure it's not really something surprising or new to actually know that there are some people who went to college and they regret what they went and majored in. I think some of us have actually experienced growing up and your parents actually tell you like, oh, make sure you study something that's going to earn you money. Make sure you study, be either a doctor, nurse, this and that, like lawyer, like they like call all this profession like, and they're just a few, engineer and the rest. And some of us are like, no, there are people who be like, they're trying to go and follow their passion. They want to go into things that they love. Or you had teachers who actually tell you, oh, go and study something that you're passionate about. You have to do a job that you love. You really will not feel like you're working at all a day in your life. And it's like, that is crazy because some people have actually went and majored in hobbies, and this has ended up not favoring them at all in life. Not on top of the fact that the job market is really very, very terrible and bad right now. And it's not just about the individual or what you decided to go and major in, but that makes it a lot worse if you even went to study something that's not very marketable, doesn't really get you much jobs. And let's not talk about those who actually have debt. A lot of people have gone into debt just to go and get these degrees, and at the end of the day, no jobs. They're unemployed, or they're working jobs that did not even require a degree to begin with for you to actually get into it. So these are the frustrations that people are actually going through, and this is real life experience. And I feel like for those people who are actually thinking about what to do, if they would need to go to college, if college is worth it, these are things that you need to watch so you can learn your lesson from other people's experience, like those people who didn't listen and actually went for with their passion. Not to say passion is bad. Some people can have passion in things that actually earn money, but sometimes you just gotta chase the money because your passion ain't gonna pay your bills and how this world operates. But before we get right into this video and check it out, please make sure you click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into this video.
I used to be offended when I went to college and my mom told me I wasn't allowed to major in certain things. I had 3 options. I could become a doctor, I could become a lawyer, I could become an engineer. And looking back now, I feel like what she was trying to tell me, and she did not have the language to express this, is that I needed to major in something that's going to be able to financially take care of me. So I'm going to pass this advice on to all lower income students who are in college. If you are in college and you know that you do not have a financial safety net, there's nobody's going to come and rescue financially, nobody is supplementing your life, and you're all you have, I recommend not majoring in certain major. And this is not to say that one major is better than the other. No, I recognize the value in all spaces, the arts, the sciences, etc. But you need to be smart about your decisions, in that if no one is going to grab you when you're falling, major in something that's going to make sure that you're able to catch yourself. You can still pursue your dreams in whatever passion you may have, but most of the time you're going to need funds to fund your passion. Do whatever you will with this information. Again, this is not a personal slight at any major. I love the value. And if you want to major in something that may not be as lucrative, but you have the financial support from a spouse, from your parents, from your family, go for it. But if you don't have that support, please, please, please think strategically and think about how can I get the funds to adequately fund my passions.
My unpopular opinion when it comes to college is, if you know your mom ain't got no money and you ain't got no money, you better choose a major in college that's gonna make you some money.
It blows my mind the number of people who pick majors and then subsequently jobs without actually understanding how much money they could possibly make and whether or not that's actually going to fulfill the lifestyle that they want. So before you go and do something you're going to regret, this is how you're going to find out what jobs pay. You're going to Google BLS space gov, and then you're going to click Occupational Outlook Handbook. From there, you will find the Wikipedia of jobs. You can go through occupation groups based on your interests, or you can filter by things like pay, how much education you need, etc. This site will then show you exactly what the median pay was for this, and even show you in some cases how to get this job. If you click into a specific job, it'll break down exactly what you need to know. And my favorite feature is that it'll actually break out pay based on what sector you do this job in and what you might be doing. If you want to gain the career, business, and finance knowledge you wish you learned in school, give me a follow.
I
definitely regret getting my degree, but only because of what I majored in. And I wonder if anybody else put the same way. So I have my bachelor's in business administration, focused on management, and then my master's is in still business administration, but it's focused on marketing. But if I would have known like what I know now, I definitely would have went for something more IT related, because every time I click on a career site, it's hard for me to find like marketing type jobs, but there's always some type of IT related job on every single career website that I go when I'm looking for new jobs. I love working from home. I like being on the computers. I really love technology. So now I really wish I could start over and go for something in like the IT type field, because nobody really be hiring for like marketing type jobs, and I'm over it, completely over it. I really wish I could just start completely over.
Okay, so I know that people say go to school for what you're passionate about, and I did that. Right out of high school, I went to college for criminal justice, and upon realizing that degree does nothing for me, anytime I ask somebody how did they get to where they are in this field, they just said they applied. I asked, do they have a degree? They tell me no. Because most of the stuff in that field you're going to learn while on the job training. So I'm getting a degree in criminal justice just because they say they want a degree. Now, mind you, most of the stuff that at least I plan on pursuing with my degree is not the most money in the world. And of course, I'm working to like my job and to get money. But now realizing that in this economy, thank goodness for free will, that I plan on doing sterile processing tech. Why? This just came out of nowhere. Why again? Because I want to. Because why the hell not?
Hey, if your kid is in an American high school, they don't actually know about enough jobs to be picking a college major. They have no idea what's out there. They have no idea what the jobs are called. They have no idea if a degree is actually necessary to do those things. That's why we have such terrible outcomes for college graduates in our country. The default setting is go to college, figure out the job later. That's insane. That's insane. It's an insane thing to do when the cost of college is $104,000 to $156,000 on average. And it does not take 4 years. It takes 5.5. That is a ridiculous amount of time, money, energy, and youth spent with no clear goal. And they have no clear goal because they do not have the correct information. Your kids, and I'm telling you, I work with 16 to 20-year-olds. Your kids know almost always, and this is nationally. I've worked with kids in all 50 states except Hawaii, which is where my husband and I are from, ironically enough. They almost all those kids, it's the exact same set of jobs they can name all the time. The girls name the same set of jobs and the boys name the same set of jobs. Zero vocational creativity. They only know things they can see with their eyes. And then from that, if they do have an expanded view, an expanded range, like maybe they know 20 different job types, they only know jobs that the counselors or teachers could see with their eyes. Why do all of your daughters want to be psychologists? Because of the limited menu schools teach them from, and because of media. There's a reason why they all want to be firefighters, doctors, nurses, teachers, because that's all they can see. The more and even now, with this new push towards the trades that's getting more socially acceptable, still, all trades you can physically see with your eyes. Never once has one of these kids come in and known that they can design fire sprinkler systems. Never once has one of these kids come in and realized they can be an email marketing specialist for a company that they like. Never once has one of these kids come in and realized that they can be an audio engineer. Never once has one of these kids come in and realized they can be an auctioneer. And probably the craziest part of it, and what's so sad, is that buying college degrees with no goal is quite literally going to keep them from being able to pursue these jobs that if they started in them when they were young and had no debt, they would be able to have. That's the thing that's the most sad. When in reality, they're going to end up applying for the same entry-level jobs later in their life with more pressure and more financial strain than if they had just started at 18 and looked for the right opportunity in the right industry that fit their needs and fit their interests. Making sure that their needs were met and then saying, oh, I'm also interested in this. Perfect. That's how people have picked their work throughout all of history. And trying to do it a different way has had clearly terrible ramifications, terrible outcomes, and it doesn't work. Why? Because we send 62% of our high school seniors into college, and look at the fallout. Look at the fallout. And more than that is these people who are just so, you can just look at their lives. Look at how unhappy they are. People feel like they can't have kids, they can't buy homes, and none of them can seem to attribute it to the fact that they spent $104,000 on something that had no application in their life, and that their interests and their needs changed so dramatically because of the debt that they incurred while they were wasting those 4 years on something that they should have never been doing. And it's so frustrating to me to see how people are now unable to make choices that they would have if they were free. That's what I hate. And that's what I want to stop. I want that to stop happening. I want that to stop. That should cease. And the people who can stop that from happening are parents. Help your kids think dynamically about different jobs that they can't see with their eyes. It's a muscle. It's uncomfortable. You're not going to know at first. But just always question, oh, what's behind that? What's past that? Oh, how does that happen? Right? That's how you find out that procurement exists as an entire career field. Like, that's how you find out what visual merchandising is. That's how you find these things that people didn't know existed. And you can give your kids opportunities that are simply locked behind a lack of knowledge by the general public. Because our high school system teaches to a college menu because they're trying to sell your kids bankruptcy exempt debt. And you don't see it. And I just want that to stop happening, because it's robbing people of their ability to do what they want. It's robbing them of their ability to start businesses. It's robbing them of their ability to live in a way that they actually like. And we're doing it under the guise of education. It's not education. It's a debt product. It's a debt market. There's an entire securities market built on your children's debt. That's how big of a market this is. And we are letting them do that, when all we have to do is tell our kids, you don't have to let the high school push them off this panic-induced cliff at 18. They don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. College is going absolutely nowhere. It's bankruptcy exempt debt. Your kid can go back and get bankruptcy exempt debt whenever they want. The college will always take their money. It's a business. It's a hedge fund. They want your kids bankruptcy exempt debt so they can grow their assets tax-free. That's literally what they do. There is no rush to purchase from these institutions. None. Zero. Wait. Tell your kids that it is okay to wait until they're 25 when their brains are fully formed. When their brains are fully formed, and there's probably a company that if they do need a degree, will tell them to go get it and then pay for it as a result. Where your income is not marking up the cost of college, because the college just takes your income and then spins it and goes, oh, we can just charge these people this much. And look, give them this little merit aid so they feel better about it. Oh, give them this little scholarship on this thing that we marked up that doubles every 9 years, where the tuition doubles every 9 years, and we just make the prices up. Literally, you don't have to buy from them. It's the most liberating feeling when you realize that your kids can do almost anything that they want. There are so few things that they're actually barred from. It's kind of amazing. The future is bright for kids whose parents realize that they don't have to do things that people make them feel like they have to do. Because it's not the purchase of the college paper that is going to make your child's life a success. It is your parenting. It is the 18 years prior to that purchase that makes kids successful. It has nothing to do with the paper. That has everything to do with you and the way you support your child and the way that you let them learn and grow. And the way that you don't let colleges convince you that a degree is synonymous with education. Your child can learn, your child could be educated, your child could be high earning. They can do everything. And you don't have to pay a single red cent to these colleges.
One of my biggest regrets is not studying a major in STEM when I was in college. I wish I knew then that if I wanted to be guaranteed a good job after graduating, that getting a degree in a STEM major would have been my best bet. So my advice to anyone who is a college student or is going off to college soon is I would recommend studying a major that's in STEM. So any science, medicine, tech, engineering, like anything like that. Those jobs are like really high in demand. So, and they're like really good, like high paying jobs. So please, like if you do have any interest in like the arts or things like that, you can like study that, but just like maybe as like a minor. But like the main focus of your degree should be something in one of the majors that I listed, because that is what's going to guarantee you a job, and a good job after graduating, especially if you're someone that took out student loans.
The truth is there are a lot of college graduates some fresh college graduates who actually went and studied some computer science, some are actually trying to get into tech, and right now who are getting laid off massively. And this just kind of breaks people's hearts. It's either you have those who actually have college degrees who are being told that they are overqualified for certain entry-level roles, and then or possibly they have no experience, or they can just barely even get some jobs that actually doesn't even pay much, but they require you to have a bachelor's degree. Yet you are left with a ton of debt that you need to go and pay. But how would you pay it if they're paying you just $15 an hour for having a college degree? And it's like, it sucks because some of these jobs have the nerve to actually have college degree as a requirement, yet they are paying so little. Like, did you know how much somebody had to pay for their college degree? Like, people actually had to pay a lot of money for it, and you're literally gonna pay them that. Honestly, it's really heartbreaking because, like, back in the days, they would tell you, oh, when you have your college degrees, you'll have a very good paying job, you'll be more comfortable in life, and that's the way you can escape poverty, like, or suffering or scrambling for like all these low paying jobs. But literally, most people are doing these low paying jobs these days. They're actually college graduates. Like, they went to school, they're educated. So what's the problem?
I think looking back, one of my biggest regrets about going to college was not taking full advantage of the resources that I could have had and not using college to my fullest potential. Now, when I say that, it's because I studied media communications, which is mostly journalism, and I was going the broadcasting route, and I got bored with it, and I needed to make money outside of school. I had things to pay for, and I had a single mother, so I prioritized making money over school. During that time of me prioritizing money over school, I picked up braiding and doing hair. And in this point of doing hair, I started to make a really good income off of it. So I really just stopped caring about school altogether. Now with that, when it comes to media communications and the journalism route, internships are so important. Like, putting yourself out there, doing those internships was so important that I feel like I kind of wasted my time even going that route when I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do with that degree. I didn't participate in any school organizations. I didn't do any extracurriculars in school just because I was just worried about making money to live. I didn't live on campus. I lived at home. Still, I commuted to college. I just feel like if I took it the way that I should have, even though I didn't want to be a broadcaster, I still could have been a lot further in a media career if I would have just taken the time to do internships, even transfer schools, and take college as serious as I should have, instead of prioritizing money. So if you're seeing this and you're in school now, I want you to really prioritize your experiences in college. Make the most of it, especially if you have loans out for it. Make sure you are prioritizing every step of college. And if you don't feel like you're in a space to do that, take the year or so off and then go back.
Propaganda I'm not falling for is high school students finishing a whole bachelor's degree right out of high school. Am I saying this because I failed out of college when I was 19? Maybe. But I am now 25. I re-enrolled back into college when I was 23, so I've been in school again for 2 years. And when I say going to college as an adult has been the best decision I've made ever, I'm not even exaggerating. I just left my first advising appointment since re-enrolling back into college as an adult. Difference in my grades and just my idea of my timeline of my life is like so different than when I was 18, 19 in college. You are like me and you're debating or scared to go back to school because you're old. Don't be. Like, literally don't be. It's so easy to compare yourself and let that hinder what you want to do. But I'm here to tell you that you're gonna feel so proud of yourself and just see such a difference in honestly how much easier college is just as an adult. Just have way better time management, have a way better idea of what I want to do in life. Comprehension is also just better. Like, I understand the shit that I'm learning way more. It's just so much more manageable when your like frontal lobe is developed. Like, who would have thought?
Is it me, or do I feel like we've all been lied to growing up in elementary school, middle school, and high school? We were literally all taught that going to college, graduating will mean, we would all get, good jobs, good careers, a lot of money, and that's not the case now. It's hard to get a job. Jobs are not paying that much. Most jobs aren't paying that much. It's close to minimum wage. And employers do not care whether or not a candidate has a degree. It's not even guaranteed getting your master's will mean you'll be successful, have a good career. I mean, it does depend on what you do. But really, I feel like I've been, bamboozled. I've been lied to, like literally. It's crazy.
Hey guys, I don't even know how to begin this, but I am really at a breaking point. I am just an ordinary girl from China, and I don't know if you have realized this too. Like, life sucks. When I was a kid, I used to think everything in the world was beautiful and full of hope. People told me that if you just work hard, things would work out. And I believed it. So I worked so hard. I studied so hard for over 12 years. I studied non-stop, no weekends, no breaks. If I wasn't in class, then I must be in tutoring. Math, physics, chemistry, English, Chinese, etc. Like everything, really everything. And all that effort finally paid off. I got into a pretty good university. Only about 3% of students can get into their university. Here is my diploma. This. If you're Chinese, maybe you know this university. I thought things would get easier after that, but the truth is no, not at all. In my first year of college, I worked so hard to stay in the top 10 of my class because I wanted to get a grad school without taking entrance exam. But in my second year, I realized my major had terrible job prospects. I started to thinking switching major and preparing for another field. Watched hundreds of hours of fine lectures, took detailed notes, gave up every single winter and summer break. Then came the junior year. That's when I found out even grad school wouldn't help, especially in humanities. People with master degrees were doing the same job as undergrads. So I gave up on grad school and threw myself into find internships. I have found 4 internships by now. I have passed all the necessary certificates and literally non-stop. But now that I have graduated, I still don't have a proper job. Good jobs were impossible to get. Even mid-level ones reject me because I am overqualified. That's insane, really insane. I'm getting crazy. I am graduated, so my family is pressuring me to take any job. Really, any. But because I am unemployed, so I have no say in anything. Tonight I have got another rejection, and honestly, I just broke down. I started recording this video because I need to know, is it just us? Just our generation in China? Or is every 20s something around the world just as lost, stressed, and struggling as we are? I don't know, but one thing I do know is life sucks. Life really sucks, huh?
Guys, it's 1 year later and I just received my certificate, and I'm going to be opening this and telling you guys why I regret coming into the UK to study public health. So when I was coming into the UK to further my studies, I had 2 options in mind. I had nursing and I had public health. I got admission for nursing, but unfortunately the school had to defer me for 1 year based on they had already gone over the number of students that they could take that for that intake, and they deferred me to the next intake. But at that point I wasn't ready to I'd stay 1 more month in Nigeria, and I had another option, which was public health, which was also sold to me as a good course. Is a course that is they are in need of professionals in the UK, and it's a career that I can also progress in. And having a bachelor's in biochemistry, I was like, okay, fine, let's do public health. But I regret studying public health. Number one, the job search for me has been so difficult, because most of the jobs that you see, if I go on NHS careers, for example, and I search for public health jobs, I mostly see them aligned with nursing, or say public health nurse. Even when you see public health practitioner and go to the requirements, they want you to be a nurse. Like, it's just so intertwined with nursing. and it just feels like the degree doesn't stand alone, and it's not just something that, oh, you have a master's in public health, so yes, you can, start working. Another thing that I feel like has made it difficult for me to actually get a job with this masters is that you need experience. Even though there are jobs in public health, there are the career is good, you need experience. You see people now, they can advertise entry role for public health, and they want you to have 2-year experience. One thing that even shocked me was, because public health, when it was sold to me, was sold as a professional course. So let's say I want to register under a body now, just like nursing, you can register under NMC. Immediately you're done as a graduate, maybe you've done masters in nursing or masters on bachelors of nursing, you can just register under NMC. Or maybe you're a scientist, you can register under HSPC. Like, there are those bodies that you have, and public health also has that. But I need at least 2 years experience to be able to register. Like, how do I want to get this experience when you people are not giving me jobs? Like, there was a particular job I actually, interviewed for in public health, and they blatantly told me that they were not going to sponsor me because it wasn't under the shortage occupation list in the UK. So if I was to advise somebody coming into the UK newly, and you're thinking of courses to go and people are selling public health to you, don't do it. Like, maybe I should make a video of courses that you can come into the UK and do. If your plan is to work here in the UK, your plan is not to do your masters and go back to Nigeria, your plan is to stay here in the UK, I would not advise you to study public health. Even though it's a good course, it is not that sellable, especially for you as an immigrant, because they have lots of citizens, a lot of people with paper, a lot of people with so it is not under the shortage occupation. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but it makes sense to me. And I'm not going to say nobody gets jobs as maybe in the council with their public health, but how many? The goal is to do a course that that when you're done, you have job waiting for you, something like nursing. So yeah, that is my 2 cents. But I have a master's in public health. This has been added to one of my certificates. That means I have 2 certificates now, and I need to add at least 2 more, because this brain that I have is not just for play now. Anyway, I hope if you are planning on doing public health, I hope this video has changed your mind. Bye.
Well, breaking fuck the news. 2 million Americans who borrowed money to go to college are about to have their wages garnished this summer. Yeah. The federal government has announced that they will start garnishing wages for people who owe on their student loans. So, if you don't know anything about this, or if you went to college, this is your sign. Call the Department of Education, even though they fired half the fucking staff. Find out if you are somebody who owes on their student loans. If you don't recall, if you don't remember, if you just said fuck it, it's time to go check that shit out, because when you get your paychecks now, coming either if it's 2 weeks, twice a month, fucking salary, your shit's gonna be a lot lower than you initially assumed. So, yes, the federal government is going to start garnishing your wages this summer. It's July, everybody. June's over with. It's July and August. They're going to start snatching your shit.
Sadly, for many of us, myself included, we actually didn't know about other job positions or job titles that we could actually be working towards getting. Like, I feel like most of the time, a lot of people going into school, like being in school, high school, and like that point in your life where you're thinking about what you're going to do or what career field you're going to go into, you're not given a lot of options. And I know now we are actually open, like we could just go on the internet and research more about like some job positions that we've never heard of. But there are a lot of job positions that we really have never heard of. We have not really explored, or we barely even meet people who are in that position. That kind of makes many people not know that there are other things that they could actually get into, other things that they might actually be passionate about, and actually go on, explore it and see how much they can get from it, like from that career field. Because most times, like growing up as a child, all you keep hearing is they be telling you, be a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, a lawyer, an engineer, Like, so it's just like this few little it's just like this few job positions that some people do not want to do it, or some cannot even afford to do it. Going into the medical field, actually, you know, it's not cheap like that. I will always give this advice: if you're going into any college and you know you're going to be spending money in there, please make sure that whatever you're studying is actually worth it, and you're going to get a very good, decent job with not too much competition out there for you, so that at least it will be worth it, and every money or every dime you spend in there will actually work for you in your life than studying something that's not going to work. Like, the whole passion and things is actually good, but some of this passion are things that you don't really need a major going into school for. You can actually do them, learn them without actually having to go to school. And I feel like a lot of people have not learned that certifications will actually do you so well. There are a lot of careers that people can actually go into if you study and just, you know, do some certifications that are very cheap and affordable. That will get you jobs. I've seen people with certifications get jobs, and people who have degrees, just degrees, get skipped over. And some will actually get a degree and get all those certifications. They won't realize that those certifications are actually the ones that are getting them into the door to have those jobs, but they wouldn't know. So there are a lot of things to learn and a lot of things to research, like, rather than leaving our mindset to just be, you know, trapped in one particular side. And now that I'm saying that, with this unemployment and things that are going on, we really need to start thinking more bigger. Like, we need to be seeing the whole thing with a bigger picture and think about what we could do next. Like, what is the next thing to be chasing and following in this life that would actually grant your success? Because, like, this whole degree thing used to work for people in the past a lot. Like, this college degrees, it still works. It's not like it doesn't work totally, but a lot of people are unemployed even though they went to school. So we need to think about what else can we do. We need to be thinking smart and research on what we could possibly do going forward, because the economy is not stable at all, and it is not in the favor of some people. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I really appreciate you. Please make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. Clicking the like button helps with the algorithm, and I appreciate that so much. Hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. I will see you on the next one. Bye.